Okay, we're there. One of these days I will have figured out how to use OBS somewhat competently. I'm gonna gather some bits and pieces. So I am planning to build a hummingbird-like keyboard called Rufous. Hummingbird-like. I'm on the big screen. Hummingbird-like is a weird 30 key layout, basically. You start losing letters at that point, is the weirdness. You're watching me on screen, on the big screen. I'm delighted to be on your big screen. I've made it. This here pretty PCB is the thing that I'm working with. I hope those noises weren't too bad. Anton, please do let me know if I am at all audible. It is warm in here. It is, in my defense. The shirt is not all the way open and not getting open further. Okay, we have PCB, we have this gorgeous Tunchi little microcontroller, which is the main reason that I'm messing around with this keyboard, is that someone already did the hard work of defining a keyboard for this, and I would like the practice of using it. Sound is A-okay, thank you very much. The thing about most weird ergonomic keyboards that I use is that they use nice nanos, which Antoverse in the chat is aware of. And he's aware of them because they're pricey. It's not a good thing, not what we love the nice nano for. The benefit of this Xiao BLE is that it is a tenner. Which is, I think you could buy 5 of these for the price of 2 nice nanos. Yeah, you can buy 5 of these for the price of 2 nice nanos, which is a nice thing if you're going to try and make a keyboard that's like accessible to people. Like, I've designed one keyboard, I've designed a non-zero keyboard. I'm planning on making a bit more down the line. Can I show the controller up close some more? I can. In fact, let me touch some metal. They say touch grass, but touch metal, folks. And let's cut this open. Anyway, the most expensive component of the keyboard I have designed is the fact that you need to spend €50 on 2 nice nanos. And the goal going forwards is that if I make things, I don't use all the pins on both nice nanos. I could get away with this number of pins. It still has USB-C. It's still wireless. Still uses ZMK, the firmware I like. takes the batteries there on the pads on the back. Like I only just thought of this, it's resting on my fingers. This thing is tiny. The Seed Studio Xiao BLE. Come on, focus. I hope that you can see it okay. Anyway, it's got a nice number of pins and everything. And if I could make keyboards that cut out the most expensive component and replace them with something that's not dirt cheap but is more affordable, that would be my preference going forwards. I do not know if this is QMK compatible. I'm not sure, and there are fewer pins than on a standard Pro Micro compatible controller. This is not Pro Micro footprint compatible. It is its own thing. So far the only firmware I know that uses it is ZMK, but that's the only firmware I really pay attention to. So that says more about what I'm aware of than the state of the world. This is where the little controller is going to sit. Going to plop right onto the middle of the keyboard. Look at that silk screen. Like there's the art. There's this beautiful pattern throughout the whole silk. It's a lovely shade of color. What's not to love about the PCB? Current plan is to socket this controller because the battery pads go on the back and battery pads on the back, and I don't want to attach the battery right now, but I want the option of doing it in the future. So if I socket the controller, I can take it back out and do that later. One more thing about the PCB before I get going any further. The diodes. So when you have more switches than you have pins, you must use diodes. It helps create a system of one-way electricity for keeping track of which pin is receiving which key. And the diodes go on these little pairs of pads, like that one there, and this one here. And they're SMD and they're tiny. They fit inside of this, I believe the technical term is reel. And I haven't used these before, so this is going to be a bit of an adventure. They're super small. If you look at my fingertip, is like wider than 3 of these with spacing in the middle. So the tweezers are going to come out for this thing. Also, please excuse me, I have a cough. I may end up not catching that, but I'm going to try mute when I can. But yeah, coughing unmuted is probably inevitable, only a matter of time. But yeah, I hopefully won't subject anyone to that too often. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so we get going. Is the plan. Sit in there, little reel. Nicely, nicely. I can move my tools over here for the minute. Grab the solder. Which way do I like this? I like to attach you here. Put you upside down. Super, super. Cool, just grabbing the soldering kit, which I have scattered around my desk. I have not immediately taken my solder pump out of its packaging, but it's there on standby. Thanks, pal. Nice seeing you briefly. Enjoy your evening. Okay, so we're up to heat. I forgot one thing. Okay, so new piece of kit. New piece of kit for this stream. Microscope. The big boy edition. I had a puny by comparison one the last time. Let's see if I can hook you up. So I have tested this, but I've not used this on a stream yet, so we'll see how this goes. Come on, wiki wiki. The idea of this is that hello JCMKK3, the creator of this fine PCB. Nice to have you here. I hope I don't make an absolute hames of this build. Okay, this is where I begin to question if I have already made a hames of it. Come on. Microscope. The dream here is to use this microscope so that rather than being bent over to see tiny SMD diodes with my bad eyesight, that in fact I can see them better than getting up close using this thing, and that you fine people would be able to see it. There's just the small matter of powering it on first, because apparently I have not done that properly. Okay, so testing. Yeah, those are my fingers. This is our Intrepid PCB. By JCMKK3, who is sitting in the chat. Sorry, playing with the light. Okay, it does not deal well with the dark. Just tuning the focus a bit. Okay, that's about as sharp as it's gonna get. So it does not do well with color, but it does do a good job of making things big. I'm just gonna need to like prop up the back of this PCB from time to time, because going away from the scope cam for a sec, it's bigger than the plate I have to work with. Kind of the one downside. At some point maybe I'll 3D print something to sit between the feet and make the effective workspace bigger, but I don't know how soldering above a 3D print would really work. Or rather, I'm kind of afraid that I do know how that would work. And that there might be some melted plastic in the process, so it might not be the best idea. Okay, alrighty. We have one heated pencil to the right. We have solder, and I just need to grab. I just put away my tweezers. Come back. Okay, trusty venti nose tweezers. Oops. Pinch. Gonna get the diodes ready. Get one or two of them. Actually, I'm probably getting ahead of myself. I should probably, before I do that, just tack on a bunch of soldering. Okay, iron is hot. I need to try do something with this light. It's almost too contrasty. It kind of loses some of the definition of what's what. Okay. That's not super, but I feel like it is a bit better. Everything is not purely silhouetted. This is to some extent for your benefit, but it is also for mine. So I think I can work with this, but do let me know if you can't really see what's going on. The dream situation is that everyone can see. Okay, so I think I'm just going to keep on doing more or less that for a minute. Just tacking on a bunch of solder onto these different diode pads. Then later I can come back in with the diodes, heat up those pads again, and try attach the diodes to the tacks before coming back in one more time and tacking on the other side. Okay, that one could do it some more. Okay, 5 out of the few 30 keys on this board are like partway through to being dioded. The small size of this keyboard is really going to compensate for the fact that I am an inefficient keyboard builder. I enjoy this. I have a good time, but I am not, unfortunately, in just about anything I do, I am not considered speedy typically. Okay, we're not doing so bad. Now let's see, how do I get... Okay, you do fit on screen. Without too much coercion. Sorry, glasses need to be readjusted. Let's see if I can find this pad. Here we are. See, there's a few people in the chat there at the moment. If anyone is, if anyone has any issues hearing me or feels I'm too loud, music's too soft, too loud, whatever, the video is rubbish, please do let me know. Oh, that has not gone well. Okay, 2. Can hear and see, great, thank you very much. The feedback I only ever dream of. Okay, very nice. We have put tacks onto half of these pads. We're well on our way to getting into this a bit more. Doing something a bit more substantial than soldering nothing to nothing. I must admit that I didn't quite look at the screen for those couple. They were mostly done looking at the board. It is taking some getting used to looking at the monitor. Despite it actually being a bit easier, I'm in the habit of bending right over to try to look at the PCB. The one thing I do wish about this scope, which so far I actually quite like a bit. There's a little mirror, hello. I would like to actually zoom out a bit more. I can zoom in quite a good deal, much more than I need, but I suppose on the scale of microscopic, the view I'm using is not microscopic. But then neither really are the things that I'm working with. So I guess I'm technically abusing this slightly and complaining about it. But it would be nice if I could zoom out a bit more. Because this is zoomed in to the extent that I kind of lose a sense of whereabouts. What's the expression? I kind of can't see the forest from the trees. Like I can struggle to tell where I am on the PCB. I imagine that you don't have a great sense of that either, but you are not waving a 300 Celsius piece of metal around in the vicinity. So that's more of a me problem. Again, please forgive me, I have a bit of a cough. I'm gonna try mute, but can't guarantee that I'm gonna catch the mute button in time every time. Okay, 2 more pads before we start actually attaching the diodes. Nice. Super. This is a very well ventilated room, but I do not have an extractor fan. I am blowing away some of the fumes somewhat shamefully. Okay, let's zoom out for a sec. This is my view here, by the way, is I see nothing on the screen. The screen, I end up looking actually at OBS to view through that. There's kind of not much to see here at the moment. It's just, as we might see here a bit, some lumps on one side. So I just want to have a look over and make sure that I didn't miss any. don't believe I have so far on the right side. Nor do I appear to have missed anything on the left. So, with that checked out, gonna get a few of these diodes. Try not to drop them all over the room and lose them forever. I do have plenty, but I would ideally not end up stepping on one or soaking it up in the Hoover over the next few days. I picked a bad day to trim my nails yesterday. Cannot pull this for the life of me. Okay, super. We are... Once we're in, we'll be fine. Okay, I won't take out too many now. I'll kind of take out a few at a time as I go. These are, if you can see them at all, the tiny things I'm working with. Let's bring back the keyboard view on that microscope. We'll start way over on these rightmost pads. Bring one of those into focus. Use the tweezers. And this is what we're working with. Okay, now I'm actually gonna have to pay attention to which way is which. And regrettably, that's not most obvious at the moment. Howdy Scruffles. Okay. As I really mess with the brightness here, I think you can tell that the line, what's that, the anode? Anode on the diode is to the right, which is what it needs to be here. Someone with the proper terminology for which side of the diode is denoted by the line would like to correct me, please feel free. Okay, now, so we've got tweezers, tiny diode, hot iron. And I think that's a success. Unless I'm mistaken. I'm going to adjust this a bit and try and make sure it's spot on. Yeah. That gives some nice room for the other side. If we come, oops. If we come way up. View things in color. That is our one diode so far. And I can just about see that that is the correct side. Super, we're gonna rinse and repeat 30 times. Or suppose a further 29 times. So JCMKK3, if you are still in the chat, do I have much wiggle room to get that bang on and have it fit within that LED pocket of a Choc switch? I mean, I normally wouldn't ask a question, but you know, when there's someone here that might be able to answer it. Oopsie daisy, apologies. These diodes, man. I'm proving myself to not be nearly dexterous enough to have an easy time with this. We're gonna need to try to get real low on this one. Which side? Okay, right side is again side with line. I quite like the thought of an SMD diode as far as everything being compact. I don't think I'm going to enjoy this repeated business of figuring out which side I'm actually meant to be holding. Okay, so we have diode, I think the correct side, and hopefully a good connection. Okay, so what I'm planning on doing is getting the backside of these. I'm gonna try tune down the brightness a little bit. Gonna try to do the right hand side, come back for this side. So that means I'm gonna keep on going with right hand sides for a bit longer. Okay, this one, I don't know if that comes across at all on stream, but this one would appear to be turned around the wrong way. Oops. I lost hold of it there for a sec. An attempt to not be too rough with it. I was not holding it tightly enough. Okay, cool. So we are only 3 in, but these are my first 3 SMT diodes, so not just this evening, but ever. So hopefully we're about to watch me become faster at this. Okay, at the moment I cannot tell for the life of me which way this one is meant to be. Okay, it was the other way around. Go figure. I think what I mainly need here is... Okay, I need a few things. What I mainly need as far as identifying the diodes is less reflectivity. I don't think it helps to have so much light bouncing back. It makes reading a dark shade of grey off of black quite awkward. I don't know, I might try to get some dark paint or something and paint this darker in the future. Okay, we are back after having rotated this boy around. Okay, another one secured. I wonder if this works any better. Forgive me. I hope you're not motion sick. This camera's going for a ride. Okay, this is the correct orientation. We come back in. We secure it. I'm going to need to streamline this process or I'm going to go mental. I'd imagine you all won't enjoy that. Flicking about too much, I think. Okay, so quickly back. We've done this column. Okay, I want to try something out real quick. It had occurred to me that I've been wondering. So the switches go on top of these diodes. And these switches have a little pocket up top, which I believe is made to let LEDs shine light through. Because that's a very keyboardy thing. But cleverly, the diodes are designed to fit in that pocket. And I wasn't sure how that was going to go. But with a sample size of 1, it seems like there's plenty of room. Which I find reassuring. So I'm going to take this one off because that diode is not fully secured. But before I even thought about fully securing anything, I wanted to check that and be a bit more sure of myself. Okay, onwards and upwards. Back to some soldering. So let's see, I've done that column, I have not done this column. Again, just a bit of orientation. Okay, actually, I have an idea for something that might help me. Be right back. I'm hoping this here magnifying glass might help me identify which way around these diodes are meant to go. Apologies. Okay, my first effort is not made me sure that this is going to be a success really, but we're going to give it a go. Okay, perfect. So one of them was upside down, which did contribute. I wonder if you can see this at all. No, okay. The pair of them are there. This is angled for me. Okay, I can in fact use my helping hands to identify which way is the right way. That will be useful. Okay, I may need to move that setup in a sec. It's slightly in the way for soldering. Cable number 1 in. Now, because I pre-identified one, I can very quickly come through and do this one as well. Okay, time to grab some more diodes. How many do I need for the side? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so this should be enough for this side. I don't want to take out more than I can because I can't really put them back. These things are designed to go on a one-way trip. Okay, so I'm trying to identify the next target. And with that done, time to secure. Okay. I'm going to have a bit of a nightmare if it comes to trying to fix any particular switches or columns because I did the diodes incorrectly. I think if I somehow ended up with more than half of them flawed, I might just start again. I do have spare PCBs and diodes aplenty, but I'm hoping this measure twice, cut once philosophy is going to pay off. Okay, I don't remember if I have said, but we are just about halfway through the diodes. Not quite, but we are more than a quarter of the way through all of them and a bit. So we are coming up on having one half of this symmetrically two-sided thing done. Yeah, okay, so I have this one correct. At a moment of doubt, but we got there. Okay, so this is one of our few thumb keys. There are 4 more on this half. 2 thumb keys, 2 index finger keys. Clean the iron before sorting through some more diodes. I feel quite old relying on a magnifying glass and also kind of young not knowing how to use them well. cursed with the worst of both situations. Okay, so far my strategy on the sorting is if I rotate them, I normally see a glimpse of something. Oh, I dropped that one. That's a glimpse of the line I'm meant to be seeing, in a way that I don't get it if I just look at it head on. Oh, I dropped the one I picked up. Okay, I had sorted 4 of them. Dropped one. We try again. Just want to sort this one. I believe I have. Okay, I seem to have done that the right way. It gives me confidence. You tend to use glass diodes. Easier to identify the orientation, but they roll away. I think I will be following suit in the future. I think at this point I would rather deal with something trying to roll away from me than this struggle of not actually knowing if I have the right way around. Okay, don't know what happened there, but just have changed the computer screen. Steve ML, you can't hang around, but you're welcome for the suggested changes to your ZMK repo. Rufous is... Sorry. I don't know what the visual equivalent to Foley work is, but mine's lacking. Rufous is this fine thing. It's based on a board called the Hummingbird. JCMKK3, who is in the chat, designed this thing. It is a Choc 30 key unibody split ergo board that uses a doonchi little microcontroller called a Seed Xiao BLE, or non-BLE version, I suppose, if that is your preference. So it uses ZMK. It doesn't have 3 keys per column for the pink keys or the innermost indices. So instead of QA-Z, I'll have QA, and Z would be achieved on a combo. Same for probably losing the slash there, the Y here, and the B on this comp. Doesn't look like pants. Yeah, the Zaphod had a slightly suspect silhouette, shall we say. I find this absolutely gorgeous. I got it done in purple and got this printed myself, I think from JLC PCB. Really love the design that JCMKK3 did. Big fan. Excuse me. Currently I'm experiencing diode hell, which is somewhat self-subjected. I've put myself through this, but I'm working with tiny diodes, and I did not make working with tiny diodes easy on myself. If you notice me pause, I feel like I just lost a diode somewhere. Oops. So these diodes, the issue with them is that they are directional, as all diodes are, but they do not clearly advertise to me which direction is which. So there is something like one level down from guesswork going on here, identifying the right side, which isn't an especially sustainable solution. So I'm hoping that somehow this all works out. This is going to be one of those situations, I think, where I will probably do the diodes, then do the controller, and last do the switches, because the switches cover the diodes, so there will not be any coming back for these after the fact. Normally on a kind of discrete pro micro type build, I would not bother waiting before testing keys. I'd kind of finish everything and then test, but this time will be different. Bye Steve, thanks for hanging out. Yeah, I don't typically do that, but the check is going to be a necessity this time. So I'll be going through with the tweezers. My intention is to socket my controller because I do have a battery for it, but I don't want to mess around with the battery today because I want to also try to figure out a switch so that I can do power. So I'm going to dwell on that and come back to it. If I can socket the controller, that means I can kind of get everything working today and just come back for a quick in and out a different day. Quick in and out a different day where all I will have to do is attach batteries to the pads on the back of the controller. So it is a job that I will have to be able to get the controller off to do. But I have sockets lying around because I socket everything, because I'm kind of the opinion of why wouldn't you? Jiminy. Okay, so I dropped this, but I'm pretty sure it just did a barrel roll. Oh, no, it did more than a barrel roll. I can actually read this one. Somehow I twisted it and it didn't go. Okay, super. Maybe I have solved my contrast issue or something, but that was actually... If they were all this legible, I wouldn't mind. In fact, at this point, I'd greatly prefer it. Okay. So let's see. Do you have that in view? Okay. One more. The one that I somehow lost somewhere. Okay, I've freed up one more. Jiminy crickets. Okay. I have a faint sense. So I moved it over here. I was wondering if it might be easier to see because there's a bit less going on. Yeah, okay, it is indeed flipped, which I thought it was. Okay, so pick it up. Keep it still, move the PCB to it. Here we are. Final DCB? Final diode of the right half. Okay, perfect. Okay, before doing the left half, I think I'm gonna tack on the left side of all these. Is that a wise idea? Yeah, I think so. I think I'm going to commit to all these halves before doing the controller, where I can figure out if anything needs to be revisited. Okay, I don't know where I have that place, but it's not where I'm moving the... Here we are. Okay, not so pretty. I'm making a bit of a butchering of this gorgeous PCB. But I can come back to that. I do have my trusty isopropyl alcohol to hand to come to the rescue after the fact. I don't know if it's just because I can see my soldering work better than ever or what, but I don't rate this highly. My own soldering work, that is. Luckily, the switches will cover most of it. That's actually 100% true. That is something to find some consolation in. Okay, I tried to leave enough room on the right side when I was going through, but I have not in all cases, unfortunately. This one's just a little bit tight. Looks fine on the image, but it feels tight with the size of tip I have. Could be the case that a different iron tip is needed in the future. Well, I suppose not needed if I'm getting away with it, but that it might help. Don't think the tips for the pencil are especially pricey, so that might be a fairly cheap quality of life upgrade. Okay, technique on that one. A little shoddy, but I think the final product is okay. The good news is that on the few of these that I can actually, look at that, the few of these that I can actually see and verify which around the diodes are, I'm happy. Seems like so far the futzing around I did was worth it. Come on now. Wick to the pad. 2. No, okay. Doing this properly. Okay, nice. Okay, we're on a bit of a roll now. T bleeding G. Okay, super. Okay, we got the hang of it there by the end. Okay, quick bit of show and tell. So the joints don't look too bad. It looks like there are indeed connections. And I actually missed 2. Okay, I missed the 2 thumbs. There is this like splotchy rosin all over the place. But I can come in with the isopropyl alcohol for that. So here's the 2 thumbs that I missed. I'm just going to want to make sure I get those. So thumb 1. Thumb 1, thing 2. Okay, in the end we got that one. One more to go on this half. Okay, that one went nice and smooth. Quick visual inspection, I'm happy enough. Okay, trying to decide what to do. I think we are going to go for the second half of these diodes before doing anything with the controller. Wait a minute, actually. Okay, sorry. Keep forgetting. This camera that is very in my face is not something you can see immediately. Look at that. That's a bit nasty. Whole bunch of solder jumping up there. I'm gonna hit that with the iron. I don't like that. It's not our friend. Okay. Tied it up without much hassle. We return to the scope. We start tacking on. Tack on, tacking on. I forgot I already did the tacks. Terrific. We're going straight to the joinery. Let's put this all together. Okay, so put the water away for a sec. Counting out. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, I have taken out enough now to see if I can do this side without losing one. It's a low bar, but that would be a success this time. They go to nothing, lads. So that's them under the magnifying glass. You can see the shape pretty well, but you can't see the lines too super. That's them with nothing. Excuse me while I have a cough. Okie dokie. I'm not going to sort these all at once. I can see that this one's okay. If I cannot drop it, then we can get to using it. We bring back the scope for you and for I, and drop in this wee lad, wee laddie. So the angle that somehow these all sat last time made it a bit easier. Okay, there we go. Upside down T4. That's the right way around. At least I believe it's the right way around. This is the way around that they all are, so, or at least all the ones that I've been able to confirm are. Okay, I'm going to push these ones, I think, a bit more right-sided than the previous set. So last time I was trying to split the difference, but some of them ended up a bit left. I imagine if I tried to put them to the right, some of them will end up a bit centered, and that'll be fine. But some of those had been more difficult to sort out than they needed to have been. I'm hoping to avoid that hassle this time. Oh no. So I'm specifically picking up ones which I can see the lines on and trying to pick them up in the desired orientation. Yeah, okay. Sorry, forgive my shaky hands. So this one spun around. Maybe I'll just bring them all over and try to do them this way. Because at this point I have more confidence in this than the microscope. Sorry, microscope? I have more good feelings about seeing through the microscope than my magnifying glass. Rinse off the iron. We come in hot. Bit of heat to straighten that one up. Oh no. Okie doke. We got this again. That looks abysmal. Okay, but it worked out okay. I believe we have indeed 2 pads in this column. Yep, super. Again, just orientation things because I can't fully see with how zoomed in we are. good feeling that this is the right way around. Yes. Not all of these are created equal. Some of these are definitely a little bit more legible than the others. Where did you go? Okay. At this point, I suppose I can probably ditch the magnifying glass, which has been in my way, and I have stopped using to some extent in favor of going wibbly wobbly. I think I see that we're 4. Oh, come on. Yeah, so again, I don't know if this is at all visible on the stream. But to my eyes, it looks like we have a line at this end which lines up nicely with the line on that diode symbol. Suggesting that we have it the right way around. Now I have actual tools that I can come in with later to be certain electrically as opposed to visually. In fact, I am currently holding the first tool I will use, which will be trying to use the tweezers and check with those. But I do have a multimeter to hand, which is useful for knowing for sure if doubt strikes later. Okay, we're on to the next one. Yep, okay, this one's around. Okay, we have cracked the puzzle. This is the new way of checking the diodes for sure. Okay. So with that, we are slightly more than a third of the way through the diodes in this half. Which is taking us to 3/4 of the way through the diodes overall. Okay, this one's the right way around as well. I'm on a roll. Ladies and gentlemen, they call him Butter, 'cause he is on a roll. I don't know when that entered my head, but I actually don't like it. I have never been a fan of butter on a roll, you know. Always go for some superior sauce. Please excuse my terrible jokes. Promise it won't happen again. Yes, okay. I'm getting fluky. Jammy, what have you, these things are mostly lining up and I'm just able to quickly check without having to spin everything around. Okay, that one might be too far right. Okay, but he pulls it back. Super duper, okay. We have 8 more, which means we are halfway through this side. Rather, about to be just over halfway through this side. Here we are. Nice. Okay. Okay, you spun a bit, but I can actually see what the lighting is. Oh no, I didn't see what the lighting was. Oh, but you are the right way around. Traffic, please don't budge. Super duper. Okay, we're not quite on the home straight. I wanted to say we were, but we are approaching. This was top gear, we'd be coming up to that penultimate corner. Okay, as we move off the diodes, we'll be moving into hopefully more straightforward things. So the controller, I've not worked with this exact controller before, but controllers are normally not especially difficult, although I do seem to bump into some new way to make a mistake every time I work with one. But it's totally fine in practice. Sorry, practice? Theory. In practice, I make a hames of it. In theory, it's a-okay. Then we have the switches, which are so easy that not even I could mess them up, so... Okay, we have 5 more, we're down to a handful. Okay, a handful is an exaggeration with these diodes. A handful must be like hundreds. But we were down to 5. Is that dot part of that silvery line I'm looking for? Ooh! Introduce a big black tweezers to the image. Everything effectively gets brighter. We've found another hack, ladies and gentlemen. That does... Apologies. That does lend some credence to the idea that I had that if I were to paint this some sort of a matte black, seeing everything might be easier. So I don't know, might get some spray paint. Not sure I like the idea of spray paint on second thought. I might get some sort of a paint to test out improving the visibility on all this. I should totally go through and try and make these all more visible again in a sec, but maybe... maybe I won't bother doing the visual check. At this point, we're getting to it being maybe more practical to just do an electrical check. Okay, super. We are down to the final 4. Top 3. Tell me your secrets. Oh, you're the other way around. I'm ecstatic to have found out that this tweezers makes visibility so much easier. I'm a bit disappointed that I found out so late. Okay, last diode, then 15 more joints on the opposite sides that I haven't been touching so far. But nearly done with these. Okay, wrong word. And why'd you gotta flip on me, buddy? Okay, take the very hot thing away from where I'm trying to flip things with my fingers. Flick that somehow into the shirt. And come to terms with the fact that I lost one of the diodes at the final hurdle. Replace one. Remember that I just learned that this tweezers really helps bring out the contrast. Okay, it's the other way. Try not to lose it again doing the exact same thing that I just lost one doing. Yeah, okay, right way around. Superb. Go for gold. Heat it up. Pick it up. Stick the landing. Okay. 5. 6. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 12, 13. 14 and 15. That side actually seems to be totally the right way around. That one only has 2 in its column. Just looking for a third one that was never going to be there. Okay, there are definitely some less pretty connections on this side. But all the diodes were the right way around. Somehow we did it. Okay, we go in. Apologies. We go in for take 2. We try to tackle these off. I'm gonna just take a moment to cough and have some water. Okay, back. Don't look too closely at that one moment of desktop. Okay, so first things first here is to try and find that outer edge. Now we're going to see how well I actually left room for myself as I intended to. Okay, at least on the first one, that's a success. Two for 2, let's hope it stays okay. Did I get to the top already? How many are in this row? Okay, it did. Okay, good. So where dead creeps in on this particular PCB is, or rather, not the PCB, using this microscope stand. So there's this leg that obviously the microscope isn't floating in the air. It sits on this leg, that leg does make it a little bit hard to move a PCB around. Just makes it a little bit less obvious if you're going to see what you expect to see. Oh, I still have the thumbs. Okay. I think these are the final two diodes. Next step, controller. From the controller, can flash some firmware and check the soldering works so far before moving on with the final soldering of the switches, which ought to be easy peasy. Okay, I don't appear to have missed any of the joints there. Everything seems to have worked. So, as we move on, these are my sockets and pins that are going to make this controller swappable. This is my lovely, much less vibrant on screen electrical tape, which will hold the sockets in place. I'm going to get my flush cutters. I have a wire cutters, but I'm going to get a flush cutters for what I'm about to. Okay, so this Wii controller has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pins per side. 14 pins total. I have here, I believe, I think this used to have like 30 or more, but I think this has 16 pins on it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's more than 7 anyway. I'm just going to trim this basically into 2 7 long pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so I do indeed have 2 pins left. I don't know when I will ever need 2 pins, but you know what have you. It's not the cleanest cut using these flush cutters. I mean, no reason why it probably shouldn't be a super clean cut, but it wasn't in either regard. So what I don't know for a fact actually is that these will fit nicely. So let's test that theory. Okay, sockets fit beautifully. That's the sockets lined up nicely. It's good that those fit because everything will be based off that. So I'm going to cut 2 lengths of tape to hold those down. Rest the controller on top. Actually no. Hold this down. Solder a point or 2. Don't do the whole thing. Solder a point or 2 to make sure it's steady. Put the controller on top to fully align it. Finish the bottom, do the top. Okay, that is tape for one side. We come in with the tape for the other side. Again, this is slightly more effort than standard pin headers, but it will leave me open the option of using the controller again elsewhere, of getting back to this controller again in the future. So that looks pretty straight to me, just that those 2 lines of pins seem nice and parallel. What we're going to do is tack on a pin or 2 to hold it tight. And once they're kind of a bit more secured, we'll test the fit with the actual controller in place. Don't let me forget to come back to the microscope view. So here we are. Okay, quick visual assessment here suggests that the left is rather nicely fit in. It's a little hard to see, but I believe it's going on okay. Yep, okay. Probably verging on too much solder there, but I'm happy to if it means that everything works nicely. These sockets, particularly if I'm pushing and pulling on them a bit, you might see some wear and tear. It might encourage to have a little bit extra on them. Okay, that one went on quite nicely. Okay, at this point we can probably cut out the scope for a minute. So that's where the controller is going to sit, nice and pretty in the middle. What I will want to do here, I have some second-hand pins I have not used, and they should all work. what I might do at this exact moment is test that theory. Test that they do work. Working would look like fitting in and... my bad. Working would look like fitting in and fitting into both the sockets on the board and fitting into the controller. Not working would look like fitting into one or the other, but not both, or into neither. So one side of these is quite clean, and I expect that side will fit in to the board, no problem. The other side is what I'm going to try to get to fit into the controller, and it is what I'm less certain of. So I have these round nose pliers. Just grabbing these tiny sharp pins, which are too small to poke at because they'd be like a needle prick. And I'm rubbing them in there through the tape. Once they go through the tape. Like so. They should click into place into the socket. The socket actually comes... a socket can adjust to a few different sizes, and it comes set to the smallest possible size. These pins are kind of the largest size it can fit. So there's a satisfying click as it expands to fit them. Okay, at this point actually, as he loses one, I've put in just over half of them. Or I suppose without that one, I have put in half of them. So I can test the theory as to whether or not they fit. They do, so far. Hopefully that continues. So the nice thing about these fittings is that I can keep my stash of clean ones. We can reduce, reuse, recycle. There we go. This one on the right hand side I'm having some trouble with. Okay, we got there. So what's that? That's another 6 pins. I believe I have about 20 in this bag. I just poured out like another 10. Okay, there are 3 pins off to the right. Another 1 pin. Just need 1 more now. Now to try and pick up these spares again. So given how well that worked, and given that I have about double the same pins again, should be able to reuse those pins on a similar controller at some point. Let's see if this comes up on the scope actually. So this is a bag of clean pins and their sockets. Clean pins, nice shiny yellow, clean, straight metal. Apologies. These reused pins. I think if you just saw the last one, you can tell the difference. There's normally a glob of solder still at the top. Some of them aren't quite straight, and some of them are kind of nicked and bent. We love them anyway. But I think you can see why they mightn't fit. Okay, final 3 pins before we can start soldering some more. This tape for the way, I imagine you could wonder why I bothered putting tape on if I'm only going to be pushing through it. When I eventually do get around to soldering these things in a couple of minutes, I don't want them to end up soldered into the socket. The point of the socket is to allow them to be removable. So in that way, the tape is kind of like a bib. It's there to catch any solder drool that might have been about to seep into a socket and hold the controller hostage where it is. So this is where I try to line it up with all 14 of these pins. A tougher task. Some of these last ones obviously are not quite as in line as the top ones were. Come on. I believe we have it there. I'm going to check on the scope. Yeah, so you can just about tell that there is a pin in each of the pinholes on the right. Sorry, that was the left. That one's a bit suspect. Did I miss one? No, I can feel something there, even though I can't quite see it. I think you can just about see it at this angle. This is not quite as tall, but I'm pushed up right against it there. Yeah, there we go. Cool. Okay, I am for the moment going to tape the controller in. We're going to flip this over, solder the rest of the sockets. Now that we kind of have a line, flip it back over and solder the controller to its pins. So that's just a little bib, hold it in place. We flip it upside down, we go to the scope. We start whacking solder onto these as soon as this one heats up. 3 310 already. We're hot. Okay, so far this is going quite nicely. I can see clearly enough through the scope. Okay, that's wonderful. Spin this around and do the same thing on this side now. Right-handed, so it helps to have the right side closer when I'm soldering it. There goes one pin. Bit much on that last one, but I think that can be forgiven. That was the easiest soldering I've done this evening. So, okay, quick visual inspection. Those joints look okay to me. Okay, at this point, we go for these top pins. Then we test taking the controller off. We take our safety bib tape off. At that point, I have some firmware that I cooked up earlier. Can do a quick test to make sure that the electrical connections are good before proceeding with the key switches. Okay, not the prettiest one. Okay, I'm gonna need to look at that and see if that's as perilously close as it appears to be. Don't want any of these joints touching. Want them all to be nice, distinct lumps of metal, as those last two appear to be. We're gonna keep on going before I come back and check, because it wouldn't surprise me if I'll want to check some of the ones on this side as well. Come on now. Okay, that one's already not good. Clean the iron. Doesn't look great there, but I have a feeling it's flux, so I'll check that again properly in a minute. Okay, nearly there for the pins. Okay, now for a check. Okay, with a different brightness, it looks actually to be a bit better than I anticipated. Just take some wiggling around to maybe catch the gaps. Gonna look at this one closely. Break out my magnifying glass. Yeah, okay, that's something that just didn't quite come up with the contrast through the microscope. But they all appear to be A-okay to the eye. So, theoretically, bar switches, soldering is done. Now, switch is an important part of a keyboard, but I think we are far enough along, basically, that we can flash firmware and test with tweezers, which is quite the landmark. So I'm just sticking the tweezers underneath the controller and rocking it back and forth, trying to be nice and gentle with those pins. They can bend quite easily, but we managed to keep them pretty straight there. This is where we save our lovely board from our ugly tape. Oops. Pins fully secured. Okay, however much soldering I have left, I will not need the microscope for unless I'm coming back to the small stuff. I'm calling it now that I don't think I'll need to. Ah, there's one of the little diodes I was missing. Sitting right under the microscope. This is where I want to grab one of my USB-C cables. And I try not to burn it on the iron. Try and so far succeed. Continue to try. Try not to burn me on the iron. Okay, we've plugged in this ginger thing. It now has power. Can I find it? Okay, so how do you reset these things? These things get reset with a pin called ground and a pin called reset. Okay, so sometimes pins follow a convention where it's easier to see which one is ground. This has not done that. Schnobs, thank you for the follow. Did not see you come in. Oh, does this have a button on it? I believe it does. Okay, it seems to have a reset button. So I have double tapped that, hoping that that puts it into bootloader mode. It has. Okay. We've got it in bootloader mode. The next step, dig up the firmware that I had earlier. Here's one I prepared earlier. He says, before he even found it. Okay, I went to my ZMK, which is the firmware. I went to my build folder, Hummingbird. Zephyr. I'm looking for a UF2 file. I grab it, I copy it, I paste it into... Basically this thing pretends to be a drive. You copy and paste, or like you could drag your file in. Theoretically now it's good to go. I just heard the little confirmation sound that it has disconnected, which means it's no longer pretending to be a drive. It's now theoretically ready to be a keyboard. So what I do at this point, I reattach my controller. Just push that in nicely. Apologies. Okay. So we're going to go testing testing that the keys work the way that they should. For that, I've brought up some helper software. I'm going to show that on the screen. And I'm a total professional with OBS, so I know exactly how to do that. Software is called VIA. I've somehow selected the cursor. Software is called VIA. Welcome VIA to the stream. Now, you can probably tell this keyboard doesn't look like that picture. But the good thing is that it doesn't have to. All we're looking for it to do, so I'm just flicking with the settings. I wonder if I can try properties. Okay, somehow a person more skilled than I could trim this window a bit because there's some fat. But we'll get on okay. Does this work? No, that resizes. We'll leave it roughly there. This keyboard doesn't look like that one, but it does have similar keys, so we should be able to test that a bunch of the keys are here by applying tweezers and selecting the software. He says, slightly unsure of himself, we have N, H, U, J, M. Basically, I know which keys are in this base layer. So far, we've hit all of those keys. Wait, which one are you? Oh, are you backspace still? Did I not flash you again? Your space. Which one are you? Enter. Super. Don't remember what you're meant to be. Tab, perhaps? Tab. Basically, I'm not checking that we have all the keys on a full-size keyboard yet. I'm checking that we have the keys which are on the space layer. Other keys are accessible through combinations of keys, or chords of keys, or sequences, or what have you. Let's see if I can try to demonstrate that. So if you look at the software, we don't currently have a Z key. But the way that I think I configured it is that these outer two, when pressed at the same time, should produce Z. So we're going to see if I've done that properly. Okay, I'm not quite hitting my target. Turns out hitting 4 pinholes with 2 tweezers at the same time is non-trivial. Okay, there's a chance that I didn't load this up with the right firmware at all. I think the default combo is like C and X. Yeah, C and X does Z. Okay, cool. I think C and B does... Wait, C and V does N, I think. Or maybe it's that these two do Y. Okay. So apart from me trying to stubbornly check stuff that's kind of out of scope. Yeah, there we go, we got slash. I think, for example, if I hold this one, that these become numbers. Yeah, there's 8. Or actually, that's technically a symbols there, so is this like 7? Yep. Cool. We're getting a bit ahead of ourselves. To the best of my knowledge, we have all the keys that I have intended to have without doing weird combinations of things. He says as he stubbornly goes back and tries to force Y onto the screen. Anyway, a little bit out of scope. Still want to try and make it happen. Okay, we got Y. I figured out which one in the default key map that I thought I had edited was Y. Ah, thank you. It was the button. Sorry, I could not see. I somewhat foolishly put via over. Oh, killed that. We're going to hide you. I somewhat foolishly put via over the chat, but thank you, JCMKK3. It does look like they've all worked. So let's get on to some exciting stuff. I'm going to quickly push this down with some isopropyl alcohol. We're going to flip it over. We're going to fly through the switches on the back. Then, once we've gone through the switches on the back, throw on the keycaps, do a bit of a typing test, and call it a night. We have our strictly not for mouth toothbrush, some isopropyl alcohol from the pharmacy, and some elbow grease, which has more or less cleaned up all the orange splotches that we still have on the other side, just to show that it works. This stuff has a few benefits. Rosin flux, which is some of the stuff that makes the liquid metal solder flow around, dissolves in it. Won't damage the electronics. and it'll evaporate pretty fast. Is how we come to use this stuff. It's the real trifecta. That plus like it's available over the counter in a pharmacy for what I need for my purposes lasts me a long time. For like under a tenner or so. Okay, second side, where there was recently messy orange, we're now clear. Two thumbs up for that. Gonna leave that there. Flip on over, I'm gonna try and brush off some of that or encourage it to evaporate a bit before sticking the controller in it, even though stuff does evaporate. I don't want some of the nastiness in it to stick to the controller as it evaporates. Okay, so here I have 30, 25, okay, I have the number 30, a quantity of 30, 25 gram weight, low profile Choc switches. That we're going to slide on in over the diodes that I prepared earlier. And once the diodes are all covered up, the switches are all in, flip it over. We have some nice big targets that I won't need the microscope for. I don't know, maybe I'll use the microscope in case it makes it easier for you to see should you care to. Well, this is an audio visual medium. I know that it isn't always all about the visuals. But so it doesn't hurt to make the visuals possible in case anyone's so inclined to want to watch. So these fit in really nicely. Footprint for that, it fits like a glove. So we are halfway through. We have put 15 of our 30 switches in. They're nice kind of pale pink and light grey. I did not pick these for their visual characteristics, but I don't mind how they look either. The main reason for picking these switches is that I find the low weights to be quite comfortable. Oops. Okay, first one I tried to put in right way around. The first one I had tried to put in the wrong way around. Okay, a few more switches to go. We flip it over, bash on with the soldering. Then we're just about good to wrap up. I have some keycaps that I haven't actually tried before. They're a different material than I'm used to. They're MCC palm keycaps, which very nice. I lubricated these previously to try help with the sound and feel. I don't especially care for the sound and feel of Choc keycaps out of the box. Cool. We flip over. We give the iron a a shake to wake it up. Put ourselves in some solder wire. Okay, let's see how easy we can get this to wake back up, because I'm not sure there's much of a view as far as soldering goes at the moment. If it offers any resistance, we might leave it for the time being. And it does not tend to turn on without resistance, but we'll give it a go. Okay, we theoretically have to wake. If I flick the switch, does it indeed turn on? It does, super. Okay, that was the easiest I've had it on one. Okay, so I think it's now showing. If I come over here. And we're off. Clean up the iron tip. Until quite messy. Okay, so there are 2 pins per switch. We have as few as 30 switches. So in 60 pins, minus the 4 that we just did, we're going to be done. Fingers got a little bit close for comfort there. Okay, I actually don't have a case or anything for this at the moment, so at some point I might get a 3D printed one, I suppose, whenever I come back to do the work of making this wireless by attaching the battery. I can work on attaching it then. Oops, where am I? I guess what I mean, in the meantime, I may not necessarily wipe this down with like isopropyl alcohol on stream, because there won't be much of a benefit to that. Kind of be busy work for show. Are we out of music? Or is it just gone quiet? I did have to hit play. But we're back. Back with some bog standard lo-fi, hip-hoppy sounding stuff. Cool. Actually, I'm gonna come up. Scroll up a bit and hit that one. I tried the other one a bit too recently. Okay, we are just about done with the would-be left half, currently on my right, and 3 more pins to go on this side. one side done. Onto the other. Okay. Where is my iron? Okay. I've been hunching over. Can forget that I don't need to sit so close to the PCB and worry about that. I can get a glimpse at it and sit nice and upright and have a better view upright than I ever would if my face were to be this close to the iron. Feed myself a bit more wire. Okay, so we have, including this column, 2 more full columns and a short column. So we're just about done with our switches. Okay, I'll brush that up in a while. Decapitated some of the solder wire. Okay, this takes us to the final full column. Decapitate more wire. This is kind of the trade-off of zooming in with the microscope. That I can indeed see better, but it doesn't make my motor skills any better. My motor skills are shite. Shaky hands. But on top of the shaky hands, final switch. On top of the shaky hands, I just don't have very fine movement control. Which is a bit of a shame when I can see in so much detail, yet the resolution of my hands does not go in that much. Okay, give the iron a brief wipe down there. I'm going to bring back Via and do a with keys test of the keyboard. So that we can check that these were in fact correctly soldered in. So I have Via up on my screen now. I think you can see it now. So we have a SDF GHJKL quote. Whoops. Thank you JCMKK3 for informing me I was on mute. I was just saying that this is going to take some getting used to, but I do have things like using numbers through a layer. I won't need to get particularly used to that. I'm used to... I use a keyboard called Zaphod regularly, and that uses concepts akin to this keyboard of doing things on arrows and the likes. Sorry, doing things on layers or through combinations. So that's sort of getting to the numbers that way, totally fine. Getting to alpha keys on combinations, like hitting a couple of keys to get N or Z, using 2 keys to get a Z key, using a couple of keys to get Y, that's gonna take more adjustment. Eager to learn that. That's kind of the point. It's gonna be an interesting challenge. So, at some point I will dial in my key map to be a bit more like what I would expect it to be, I suppose. This is kind of the thing with key maps in my experience, is that if your brain reaches somewhere, if your brain makes your fingers reach somewhere to find a key, it's typically a good idea to put the key there. Here are the thumb keys with the side of the first knuckle from the end of your thumb. So, if I'm to show this properly, this knuckle sideways on like that. If I understand you correctly. I think I'm not dissimilar. Although I might do closer to the tip, I think I'd probably still do not palm down, but side on. Okay, at this point I can definitely be rid of the microscope, which has served its purpose. I hope you all got some benefit out of it. I know for sure that I did. Okay, so that's interesting. I'll have to experiment with how I want to type on this. I have not delved that deeply yet. Okay, so these are some keycaps I haven't used before. These are the Mo Ergo MCC Palm keycaps. Mo Ergo have done some interesting stuff in Choc keyboards, making a somewhat keywell 80% keyboard, using Choc keys and their own MCC profile keycaps, which I am putting on at this very moment. I haven't used them before, but they feel quite smooth and soft. Most of my Choc experience comes from using MBK keycaps, which are definitely much more... there's more feeling of texture to them. These, whatever texture they have, is fine enough that it's like a low grit sandpaper versus a high grit sandpaper. Like, high grit sandpaper feels smooth even though there's a lot of texture to it. These, I believe, are theoretically quite high texture, but they don't feel it because there's so much of it, they end up just feeling smooth again. So I don't currently have homing keys. I'll have to see. I feel like I do fairly naturally reach for the home keys there. I have some MBK keys here at home in white and black with homing, which I might break out at some point to help me find my position if I find that I'm not reaching for the correct position on my own. I will be touch typing on this, obviously. Like the thing about going down in keys is that I find that legends kind of stop being particularly meaningful. I can touch type on a full set of 30 alphas just fine, so hopefully taking out 4 isn't too much of an adventure. I've also typed on Artsy, which is this 8 key layout. You can see that board there. It's using same switches, the MB Keycaps that I mentioned previously, and you get to everything through chording or combos. I think, strictly speaking, the order of the chord doesn't matter, so therefore perhaps it's not really a chord. I have recently gotten some Chicago stenographer keycaps, which I've been using on Zaphod, and I like those a good deal. Okay, that's interesting. I definitely default for the outer thumb, which is a twist for me. I normally presented with only 2 thumb keys. I go for the inner one, so that's going to be a bit of a change. Okay, I'm going to quickly default back to a keyboard I'm familiar with. We're going to try bring up monkey type and so Ishka is my keyboard. We're going to go with Hummingbird. Well, I know that this is strictly Rufous. I suppose the layout is somewhat of a Hummingbird layout. So I've peaked at like 80 something words per minute previously, but a much more average result, I suppose, would be 70 odd. So we'll see if I can hit 72 on this thing. I'm not convinced that I will at the gate, but we'll give it a go. Oh no. Okay, I did not know where backspace was. That's going to be a side issue. I might just have to power through the errors. I think backspace is this one. Must be. Oh no. Just leave. Oh no. Okay, wanting to reach for certain keys is killing me here. Okay, I'm going to go tweak this key map quickly. So for now, we'll hide monkey type away. We will bring up the terminal. Window capture, good thing I've done this recently. Okay, we're going to change into our ZMK config location. We're going to open the Hummingbird key map as I have done recently. We're going to scroll down. So, oh, I have changed this. I must just have not compiled it, I guess. Okay, we're going to test compilation. So I have locally, I have a way of making the key map firmware using VS Code. So that's what I'm trying to do here, is just in the background, there's not much to see. Get that to load up. So I'll go through the key map as I was trying to use it. So for keys that I don't have, I wanted to use primarily vertical combos. So 9 and 19 are above each other. That would give me the slash that I'm missing. So the slash would be there. One sec. Okay, sorry, I am back. Normally, if we imagine a keyboard, that would be P semicolon slash. And at the moment, I would hit those two keys to get slash, kind of sideways point at it. I prefer to vertically point at it, I think. At least it gels better with my preconception of how this is going to go. So similarly with B, would be there. I would currently press 2 keys there. I'm going to try use 2 vertical keys. If we look at the base layer, which can I extend this window without making a mess? Okay, a bit of a mess made. Okay, this is wide, obviously. Normally, backspace for me on the left, space on the right. I kept hitting backspace. I kept reaching for backspace and hitting where the tab key was, which kind of led me to quit the test. So I'm hoping that these few small changes ought to help with this working the way I expect it to work in my mental model. So just going to put my terminal window back there for a minute. I'm going to check on the Hummingbird build, make sure that it's going okay. Okay, so it did crash, but I'm not sure it was my fault. It might have been with me editing the file that it was trying to read from. Okay, let's bring this over. Terminal can go away for a minute. We're going to do another sub in of bringing VS Code to the screen. So here we are. I currently have an error in here somewhere, it seems. So it finds the overlay for the shield, it finds the board that it's expecting, finds the key map, and then there's something about an empty file.c. There's nothing in here which seems to be pointing to anything in my device tree, which is kind of the lingo for nothing pointing to like a bad definition, I don't think. So I'm going to try what's called a pristine build, as it says right there, and hope that that goes a bit more our way. If this fails, we can leave it be. I'll tinker away offline. We have a working keyboard, we have a not working key in's head trying to figure out how to make the keyboard work. Hopefully we get it all. but we'll see how this goes in like 10 seconds. Okay, this is roughly where it failed last time, and unfortunately it's hit there again. Okay, if I bring down this a bit and we go to line 205. Okay, this message unfortunately is not helpful to me. We're gonna be bailing on this process at this point, folks. I'll take some time to work on this off stream and hopefully figure it out quickly, but figuring out this stuff on the fly isn't my strong point. So we will hide code for a minute. Going to do my best to remember how this was supposed to work. I've earned PB with 4 words per minute on this, which is quite funny. We're going to try this one more time. Let's see how we go. Try beat 4, it's a low bar, you know? Okay, I need to remember that space and backspace are on the same side. I think that's the main thing for me. It'll help me recover, help me go forwards. And the thing to do will probably be to just tuck that thumb away. Oh, that's where N is. Okay. Oh, okay, we got to 9 before it bailed because I kept making mistakes. I was making some progress there. So we're going to try one more time. See if we can break into double digits. There are some issues of... It feels like it's the lowest keys that are missing. But it isn't necessarily. In this row it's the highest key. In this row it is the lowest key. So I'm trying to do combos to get N to appear, and instead I'm getting a Y because it's Y that is missing. So we're going to try this slow and steady and mess up out of the gate. Okay, we did hit 10. One more time, see if we can hit 10 without it bailing. Oof, okay, this is a combo. Okay, we have a new PB at 18 words a minute. This is a lot like typing on Artsy in terms of speed and progression. Okay, that is where we're going to call it a day for now. as I said, I'm going to take some time off of the stream to try and get this key map working the way that my brain is working, as opposed to having the key map working a way that my brain is broken. I just find this stunning. It looks gorgeous. And again, gotta love the art. At this point, I'd like to just thank anyone who's still around for hanging out. It's been a lot of fun building and having something to build, and I hope that anyone here had a good time. A few quick thoughts before I go, I suppose. It does feel quite comfy in terms of a layout. I think it will probably take some key map tuning before I feel mentally comfortable, but like physically reaching for things is a-okay. I'm really happy to have something that uses the seed Xiao BLE, and these keycaps are interesting. I think I will opt for something with homing at some point to make sure I can find my way back to the home row, but I quite like them in terms of the touch and feel. Yeah, it's an interesting build. I'm going to have fun getting to grips with it. Again, thanks a lot, folks. Take care, and I will see you again sometime. Bye bye now.